Hello and welcome to Out of Our Box. I'm Ricky and I'm here with my good friend and co-host Aaron. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm all good, thanks, man. You?
Yeah, very good. Thank you. Yes, we come on today to speak about the newfound evidence of somewhere in our home country of England about Stonehenge. And yes, so we'll get straight into it.
Yeah, might as well.
Stonehenge's Waterstone came from the northeast of Scotland. That prompts the question of how on earth this feat was achieved more than 4,000 years ago.
Yeah, it's insane. I read some places think it could be as many as 5,000 years ago,
Bloody hell.
which is insane for something that big. And it's not because it doesn't just weigh a lot, it's long. It's not,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes, and the newfound evidence of it coming from Scotland means it came, well, the Waterstone
yeah,
came 434 miles away, which will these days take 13 hours by car or a 10-day walk. And
yeah.
obviously,
Apparently, it's
yeah,
called the Orcadian Basin, northeast Scotland, where they
yes,
think it came from.
yes, up near the Orkney Islands,
Yeah,
which
which
is
is fucking far away.
yeah, right up the top. Yes, as I said, it's a 10-day walk, but that's without um a
Yeah, a
um
giant slab of rock.
yeah, man. Yeah, there's also evidence that the rocks were gorged out of the landscape as well, rather than just found.
Mm, that would be even more interesting, considering you think if they found something that they see that was appropriate that was already broken, but having to cut it out of the rock face and
Yeah,
then shape it.
it's ridiculous. All allegedly before the invention of the wheel.
Yeah,
So, so but yeah,
it's what are you
go
using to cut that other rock, essentially?
on. Yeah, basically.
I don't know if you've ever tried to carve something into stone. It ain't very quick.
Maybe some bricks when I was younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, the discovery shows that the construction of Stonehenge was far greater a collaborative effort than scientists first realized, which is which is mental. It means that the ancient monument was built with stones from all parts of Great Britain.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's if there's some sort of meaning towards that, with
Yeah,
it
man.
being from all of the Isle, basically.
Yeah, man. It's mental. The findings suggest that Neolithic Britain was more connected and advanced in their society than earlier evidence indicates. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, it's the we'll get on to the just the advanced technology that they must have had for the time. I'm not saying it was it's
Cranes.
technology, yeah, technology we have now, but if like think about it, if there's hunter gatherers, so to speak, because
Yeah,
that's what allegedly they were.
yeah. This
Um,
is essentially before the invention of farming.
yeah, agricultural, if you know it, but yeah, the you know, technology they must have had just forget the stones for a sec to get the stones out, just the technology to for somewhere where Stonehenge is situated, for them to have some knowledge of people being near the Orkney Islands. I mean,
Yeah,
nearly 500 miles away. So there must have been some collaboration somewhere.
yeah. So how did they even know that there was people living that far up in general? 'Cause even now, there's not many people that live there.
No,
So
not the Orkney Islands.
yeah. So back then, you would just think it'd be even less.
Yeah,
So and then who sort of decided, oh, this is the perfect place to get what we want from?
Yeah,
There must have been some sort of network of communication for the whole of the country.
yeah. Then yeah, where it's situated, there must be a reason for it being there.
Yeah.
So I mean the solar aspect of it, and obviously the equinoxes and that, and the way the sun goes around it. I mean, I think that's probably is that a proven fact? That it's there because of
I
that?
don't know, but it seems very coincidental that it lines up so well with it. And then there's lots of other places around the world that do the exact same thing from the around the same time frame. They
Yeah,
all seem to have a certain correspondence with the way that the moon and the sun moves.
yeah. And so not just the moving of the stones and knowing that um people were over there, they had a grasp of the the way the planet moves, the way the equinoxes go around, the way the sun moves around the earth, just a
Yeah,
knowledge of something else.
even if you think about that for a second, so finding out watching the Earth move around the sun, it's not like you don't just see that once and then be like, oh, we can make this. That must have happened over decades and to chart the positions and the gradual movement, and then to put it all into place with these huge structures.
Yeah, they've learned it. They've
Yeah,
or
all they were told.
we'll get onto that as well, maybe. Well, we will. Yes, or they've been told it. But let's go back on to just the moving of the rocks. Because there's several theories that indicates how they moved it, but not one is 100% right. But one of the theories is just good old manpower.
Mm,
I mean, just the pulling of the stones on the ground.
yeah, which I don't know how many people you think you're going to need to do that, but I
Well,
think from some reports that I read say up to 100 men. I was like, that seems quite light to me. I think I'd want a few more.
yeah, I want to feel more of that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think anyone really knows the world population back then, or
No,
the population of the British Isles anyway. Um, but yeah, just the movement across, and it's not because you think nearly 500 miles away. It's not flat terrain either. You're
yeah,
not just
that's one of the things I always think about as well. People go, "Oh yes, this is from 500 miles away." It's like, yeah, it's not completely flat.
you got you got big. I don't even know. I wouldn't say mountains, but there's
No, bordering like,
yeah, yeah. You got to go up and down things.
yeah, yeah. They're not. It's not. They're not hills as such. They're halfway between. Oh, I guess you would consider three peaks are considered mountains, but
Yeah, yeah, I suppose so. But even without the mountains, you've got just trees and the
yeah,
terrain and the forests
valley
and
like
the
valleys from the ice age, like water that was channeled out and stuff like that.
yeah, you got yeah, rivers. You have uh many things. And did they know how to navigate their way through from the tip of Scotland down to where Stonehenge is built?
Yeah, what? So I'm assuming someone must have had it. Someone must have planned it somehow. But one of the things that I was reading is because of things being dragged for that amount of time. Some researchers think that you should be able to see sled marks for carrying something so big and moving it for such a long time.
Yep. Yeah,
But then
that makes sense.
you don't know if that's just been lost to time or whatever. But
You never know, weathering and stuff.
yeah,
They've been 4,000 years old, or as you say, maybe five. Weathering is a probably a component to it.
yeah,
Yeah, true. Yeah, another theory is log tracks.
yeah,
So yeah, common theory is that prehistoric people rolled the stones along the log tracks and sort of put them down, rolled it,
move around.
moved it again, rolled it. I mean, it's a big tiresome
Yeah,
to do.
and then again, it would take a lot of manpower, and then doing something like that, moving something so heavy, those are going to get pushed into into the ground.
Yeah.
It's not gonna roll like you're rolling your bike chain around.
No, I mean, you think of any simple job you do, even DIY.
Yeah.
You start out, that's a 5 minute job.
Yeah.
2 days later, you're punching a wall.
Yeah, the foreman on this job was like, yeah, I know it's 10 days walk, but don't worry. We'll
Yeah.
be there. We'll get it done in 6. We're quick.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's yeah. I don't know about the log tracks either. I mean, it is, but again, it's exactly the same as just putting it over the ground. Really, you got terrain. I mean,
Mm.
you're going up mountains or big hills or whatever. Them logs are just going to roll back at you.
Yeah, exactly. All the stuff on top of it, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So
And I don't think you want 100-ton rock just rolling down the side of a
you
field.
don't. You really don't. Yeah, but even like the other rocks around Stonehenge, the um ones that come from Wales and that, it's still a feat.
Yeah,
That
they
was
call
a
them the blue stones, don't they?
That's the one. They were big feats then, like even from
Mm.
Wales. Like, it's a huge feat for them people that allegedly had no technology.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but yeah, that's the thing. And yeah, another theory is animal fat, greased slaves.
Yeah, actually read quite a bit about this one.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So yeah, they reckon that they could have had grease sleds that were pulled by cattle, but then that calls into question a lot of commonly held beliefs in modern day archaeology, where this is before we were using animals for farming. So why are we using them to move things around?
That is true.
So
Just do
yeah.
it.
But then that to me seems it is the most plausible because obviously the extra power of using, I don't know, like ox or something like that with greater strength along with manpower, with it being on a greased sled, seems like you would get the most amount of movement. It still wouldn't be easy, but it's definitely easier than pushing it.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, but it's yeah, I don't see again, just every um one of these is sort of it as soon as you say it and start thinking about it, you just question it, everything because you're like
Yeah.
because of the terrain again. It is all terrain in my head, like because it's
Yeah,
how.
and if you're just constantly trying to find the flattest way, you you would never make any progress. You'd constantly be turning left
Yeah,
and right rather than making any forward progress. And like back then, think of the dense forests and stuff like that that was in the UK that aren't there anymore.
of course.
Like just making the way through this like these brushes and trees. Like did they chop them down or
Yeah, the animals are not the easiest to work with either.
no?
Yeah,
Especially when you're just controlling them with pretty primitive ropes essentially.
yeah,
It's not like you've got uh like a saddle and all this attached to them.
no. Yeah, again, another theory apparently is wooden balls.
Wooden
Mm,
balls.
balls, yeah.
Hmm.
Researchers have tested the idea that wooden balls could have been used to move the stones, reducing friction and making the process more efficient. But again, um, like the logs, balls roll.
Yeah.
They come back at you as well. They're
And we're thinking about all of these as well, like rolling a ball, as we know for living in the UK, it's generally fucking wet.
yes.
And and I don't know if you've tried to roll something through mud. It don't roll at all.
No, it don't. It sinks, especially with
Yeah.
tons on top of
So
it.
I find that must be implausible as well. But are they using something that goes down in front? They put the ball on top of it, like I don't know, like you would with a wooden board or whatever, and then rolled it over that to get better.
Again, but it's just adding things to it, isn't it? I don't know. It's
Yeah, it's
just
like how much stuff are we taking with us?
yeah. Um, and the last one I got is they had boats
Yeah,
to obviously go round and I don't know where Stonehenge is situated, as in the nearest
water.
sea. Yeah, sea
Yeah,
or water. Or, I mean, rivers might have been a big stretch line because I don't think really no one went down the rivers until the Vikings got here because that's was one of their
yeah,
that's one of their things, isn't it? The longboats they
yeah.
navigated the
It,
rivers, and before that
yeah,
it
they were
wasn't
definitely
possible.
much better at it than we were at that time.
Yeah, and that's what 3,000 years later,
Yeah,
so or maybe 4,000 years later. So, yeah, boats. I mean, the technology that I'd have from boats then not to put that weight on it and it sink is
yeah. Or could they have used the boats to pull the stones along while they were on the ground? Like if they were on dry land, could they use the boats in the sea to drag them that way? But then, even with the weight, you'd think you'd struggle to move a boat along.
yeah, it's a big bit of weight and a big boat for that manpower to. It's
Yeah,
like,
and then you're just using the power of the wind.
yeah, true. I mean, you can have oars and that to row it, but it's I don't know.
Yeah,
That seems implausible to me. Yeah, the boats.
yeah, that does. Well, it doesn't seem the easiest of them.
No,
I think with enough manpower, I think you could probably get it feasibly done on flat ground. But
yeah,
yeah, they all seem very fucking far-fetched.
they do. But yeah, there is little evidence to reveal how Stonehenge was actually built.
Yeah,
Uh, some of the biggest um, tons of weight is 50 tons, but since the civilization that built it left no written records, we don't actually know how on earth they did it.
mm. And then yeah, they don't know how they did it or what it was for, really.
No, all speculation, obviously, as we said, like
Yeah,
the situation of it, because it did get put there for a reason. Because you wouldn't just go around the
yeah,
British Isles to get all these. You just build them next to where they are, wouldn't you?
yeah, exactly. Or you would just use what was closest to you.
And that, yeah,
Yeah,
and just the building of it when you've got there, that feat, the
yeah.
hoisting
How did
up,
they lift them?
yeah, the lifting mechanisms they must have had to lift it up. I mean, there's one thing getting it over terrain, but then there's another thing lifting it in the air.
Yeah, like 15 10 10 15 feet in the air.
Yeah,
Oh, it definitely shows that they're some sort of highly advanced level of geometry to be able to, because you're building a lift to be able to pick it up. So then that needs a counterbalance,
yeah, yeah, it
and
does.
then so that no amount of manpower is picking that up
No, you
without the aid
know,
of something.
no, definitely not.
So there
Um,
must have been some sort of primitive crane that did it.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, it must have been a pulley system. Of, I don't know.
yeah, you're just using lots of like alternative forces and then just to ease the pressure. It must have been huge to be able to do it.
yeah, it's a huge feat. It is for that time. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's we could do it now, but it's even a big feat now. I think, like
Yeah,
just
it's
that
not exactly easy.
easy. No, no. But to be honest, I'm not too sure what weighs if there, but 50 tons is a fucking lot of weight
Mm.
to lift for a crane these days. But
Well, you just got to look at like when people build these big cruise ships, like these huge cruise ships that weigh like 100 tons or whatever. They don't crane them into the sea. They just push them off the side of the dock and
yeah,
it goes in the
yeah,
water.
yeah. Because if you do that, the crane's in the water.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah, it's true. Um, yeah. Who knows? I want to know, but who
Yeah,
knows?
me too.
But yeah. So yeah. We don't know how I did it, but some other aspects you could get this in there. You could read Eric von Daniken's book Chariots of the Gods. To get in
Yeah,
there, which makes the argument that many ancient megastructures, such as Stonehenge, the Egyptian pyramids, the heads at Easter Island, were built using know-how passed down technology from godlike aliens to mankind.
Mm.
I love that shit, man.
Yeah.
If you've not read Eric Von Däniken's Chariots of the Gods, it's really good. It's
Yeah, or watch the show Ancient Aliens.
yeah, we'll watch the show Ancient Aliens. I think he's still alive. I think he's in his 90s now, but he wrote the book
Yeah,
in his 60s. Yeah,
he wrote that a long, long time ago. It is a really good book.
yeah. It's so small. So maybe I think it was the first probably book out there that questioned that. I think he wrote some others. I can't remember the other books he wrote, but
Yeah.
Chariots of the Gods is his big one. I think they made a really bad movie about it as well years ago. Recorded on a potato, but
Yeah.
no, but yeah, the alien aspect of it. I mean, that's his perception of it, but I think the earlier perception of things like um, that was Göbekli Tepe and stuff like that that was 12,000 years old that they made. Well, they made in Turkey, people made them, and the
Yeah.
idea of a lost civilization that fell to the cataclysm of the Younger Dryas 11,500 years ago, or whenever it was, 11,700 or whatever it was years ago. And then that civilization died out, and then a small group of those coming that had a civilization that knew with their technology and passing it on. The passing on of knowledge is,
Yeah, which has happened forever. It's stuff that happens now that knowledge is passed on, and then having not having means of really being able to save it. You can see how things could easily get lost just through natural disasters and yeah, famines and people like losing knowledge if there's only a certain amount of people who know how to do it.
of course, and we know there was a massive um, cataclysm 11,700 years ago. I mean, it's
Yeah,
weird that it got. I mean, Stonehenge might be older than we even think. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Well, it's been carbon dated, but through the years, these numbers seem to go further and further back from what we originally believed.
But the carbon dating thing is only like natural matter, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
it's hard to date like rocks and
Mm.
things like that. They can do it to an extent, but it's very hard. It's more um the natural matter of things. That's why they got it from Göbekli Tepe because for some reason they dug it in
Yeah.
and right round just before the cataclysm. So they must have known something, and from that they got natural matter, and that's how they um dated that, which is mind-boggling. That's 12,000 years
Yeah.
old.
It's insane.
Yeah. But yes, but going back to Stonehenge, the and the theories like aliens, uh, many early historians were influenced by supernatural folktales in their explanations as well. Um, some legends held that Merlin had a had a giant built the structure
I mean, that
for
would have been easier.
for him, and and that he had magically transported it from Mount Killarross in Ireland.
Mm.
Why? Um, if the rollers and the things seems implausible, then I think
Yeah,
transporting it
the
just
giant might.
yeah,
He just moved it with his mind.
and then there is some people around the UK that, of course, as everything, they hold the devil responsible. The fucking devil. It's the devil.
Yeah,
Of course it is.
that would be something before the invention of modern day religions for the
Mm,
devil to have done it. It didn't even
exactly.
exist yet.
It wasn't even written about. It was
It
probably
was still
made up in
in
the
there.
first place, but still, it's been
Yeah,
made up. Yeah, if you can't explain it, it's the devil to some people. Um,
yeah,
and I didn't know this either until researching it until the late 19th century. The site was commonly attributed to the Saxons. So up until the
yeah. I did
19th,
read this.
yeah, I didn't know it.
Yeah, Yeah, I know they. I think they discounted that quite early on in the 70s,
Yeah.
but then obviously they were using quite minimal scientific technology to what we are using right now, I guess. So they're probably looking for early, early-ish settlements for them to it'd be like, oh yeah, of course, it seems like something they would do, something ritualistic,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Um. Well, minimal technology in the 70s. This was built
yeah,
4,000 years ago.
exactly. They did all right, didn't they?
But as you said earlier, there's um other, not Stonehenges, but other
Yeah,
megaliths around the world.
henges. That
Henges.
was I think that was a scientific term that was made in this. I think that was in the 70s as well. But there's a few in Scotland that are even older than Stonehenge, and
Okay.
yeah, not quite as nowhere near as big. But one that I did see when I was looking this up, it's called the Dolmen de Menga, and built. They think it was built between 3,800 to 3,600 BC. All stones are bigger than Stonehenge, and it's one of the largest megaliths in Europe. Some of the stones weigh over 100 tons, and they think that they were sled dragged, but only 850 meters.
Only.
Yeah, and then yeah, some of the big one of the biggest stones is 5 meters long. It weighs 100 tons.
Fucking hell. It's mind-boggling, and it's not only the how, it's the why.
Yeah, I think that's one thing we'll probably never ever find out unless there's some ancient library somewhere that's
Yeah,
never been found.
yeah, we
Because
found we found some written text from the day that actually exists, and someone could
yeah,
decipher it, even though
or
they're
someone missed something carved into the side of
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I think one of the things they wanted to do, but obviously they want to risk ruining the site, is there could be so much still underneath the ground that could maybe expose a bit more, but you risk ruining what's there by excavating the site.
Yeah, yeah, you don't want to do that. It's not good.
Because
Um,
there was um through carbon dating, there's a lot of buried remains around the outside.
yeah, yeah.
I think it's like 57 different remains. So they think that it could either be the people that helped build it, or it was used as some sort of burial site at one point.
Yeah, I think around it as well with the fires that went, well, the burning that went over things. I think
Yeah,
that's where they got some of the natural matter from to do it, from the coal and the stuff that was burnt around it.
yeah,
So, and it obviously kind of dates to 4,000 years ago, or whatever it is. Um, yeah, mental. But I mean, I suppose it's exciting for us to find new evidence that we thought for many years just from Wales, and now it's bloody from Scotland. And
yeah.
it's not even like this. It's the why the highest tip in
Mm.
the Orkney Islands. There must be something about those stones.
And they are pretty confident about this being from Scotland because it's been published in a leading scientific journal called Nature. And weirdly, they thought that the autostone was from Wales, and the scientist who has managed to find out that it's from Scotland is actually Welsh, so he's probably not very welcome
Oh,
home now.
oh, they've got all the other ones. Don't worry.
Yeah,
Share.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, but it's intriguing. It's putting a new spin on how we look at ancient civilizations. It's got a new spin. I mean, I think there's a wide thing that the Druids built it. Is that a thing? Like the Druids,
yeah. I think that
um,
was an early thought.
was that an early thought? I'm not too sure about the time frame of the Druids and when they were around. I know they were
Yeah,
definitely around with the Romans, but
yeah.
I don't know if they were around
I
way like
think
2,000 years
yeah.
before that. I'm not too
I
sure.
don't think they were around that early, but it was before the Romans, I'm sure. Because
Yeah.
at some points, people thought it was Roman built as well,
Okay. There you
that
go.
I read. But yeah, they've all
Yeah.
since been disproven. But it's probably going to go down as one of those life mysteries that people are just going to dedicate their whole career to try and unearth the secret.
Good on them. But hopefully they do it in my lifetime. But
Yeah.
yeah, I can't see any of the Romans building it. I mean, the things they did build, the Colosseums and the things,
Yeah.
it just doesn't make sense, does it?
No, it just doesn't match anything what they
Anything,
did.
no, anything they did is true. Yeah. Um, I don't know.
No,
It's
but
frustrating.
hopefully someone finds out and tells me.
Yeah, please tell us. But yeah, well, the theories that we've gone through around it, if anyone knows what it's actually for, or
Yeah,
or
or has
has
got any
any
thoughts of what
ideas,
they think it is.
yeah, any thoughts of what they think it is, if they've got anything that goes totally against the grain, like it's I don't know, built in I don't know 60s or something.
Yeah,
Just put it
it's
out
the
there.
world's earliest Tesco.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, no, I'm pretty I mean, the wires and whatever, but I don't know. I'm sort of convinced there's something to do with the solstice. So I'm convinced there's something to do with the solar system and the revolving of the
Mm.
sun and moon, because it sort of it works with it, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, it matches up to certain points in the sky, so what, like exactly. And then people did worship the sun, and it meant so much to people's livelihoods, obviously, for farming and stuff like that. And you can
Yeah, of
see why
course.
maybe a monument would be built to this ball in the sky that does so much for you.
Yeah, it's true. I think there's lots of other things that were built for that, wasn't there? All around the world,
Yeah,
the equinoxes and the sun, it's all around the world, all different monoliths and hinges and
yeah,
things on the ground, fucking snakes and whatever in America, and
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Um, if there's any other updates on
We'll
it,
come back.
we will definitely come back because it very much interests us this stuff, and just I mean, we'll do other shows just on other things. I mean, I'm into not only Stonehenge's Samaria and fucking
Yeah,
all different all different stuff like that. Lots of books and lots of um weird and just the alien aspect fascinates me as well.
yeah,
It does.
definitely.
It does. Um, yeah, great talk.
Yeah,
We should definitely do it again about Stonehenge when something else comes up about it. Because I don't know. I think since it has been found, it seems like it's got a bit of traction.
yeah. Like
More
because
people are
this
interested.
news came out probably what, a week ago, didn't it? 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
And
around.
yeah, see, when I was researching today, it seemed like there's a lot more articles than I've seen about it everywhere, and then mentioning other places that are similar. So hopefully, it should inspire people to find out a bit more.
Yeah, inspire people. People get some I don't know funding for it and go and do some more research and yeah, awesome.
Mm.
Cool, mate.
All right.
Uh, yeah. Until next time.
Yeah, I'll speak to you soon.
See you soon, mate.
Bye.